Hello guys, I'm back with another video. Today we're going to be reacting to SportsLogically's why are the Charlotte Hornets not playing Lamelo? And to be honest, I think the short answer for this question is the turnovers, which I addressed in my last video when I was reacting to their game last night, and I said it really doesn't make sense to not play them because there's turnovers. Let me look up its stats real quick. All right, so this series averaging 11 points, shooting 70% from the line, 2-point land 45%, 40% overall field goal, and then 33% from a 3-point line. And then what really is the matter with him not playing a lot of minutes is his turnovers right here, which is 2.4 a game, which as a rookie point guard does not seem like a deal breaker to not play him. And then let's compare him to someone like Devontae Graham, who has been playing a considerably more amount of minutes than Lamelo, and he's averaging 1.1. So just a turnover more than Lamelo. So that would be my hypothesis on why the Hornets aren't playing him, but I guess we'll see in Sports Logically video. So if you like this content, please subscribe. I'm on the way to 300, so let's dive into it.
What's up, fellas? In today's video, we got to talk about Lamelo Ball, because there have been a lot of headlines going around lately about, the Hornets not giving Lamelo enough minutes and some things said about Lamelo publicly. And I'm just going to advocate right here to be pro Lamelo and to just let this guy play, let him work through the issues that he's having, and I'm going to make the entire case for why in this video. But quickly, before we get started, if you're new here, what's up? My name is Tucker. I upload NBA content twice a day, every day on this channel. You can see that.
Subscribe to him, guys. He's a great YouTuber. I love watching him.
That from the earlier video of the day in which I was talking about Jaylen Brown's fantastic start to the season. And so that's something you're looking for, consistent NBA content. This is a great place to be. If you enjoy this type of content, you can leave a like rating. It doesn't take very long, and it helps me out a ton. Helps get the videos out to more people on YouTube. And if you want to hang out with me outside of these videos, there's a Linktree link down in the description below that can lead you to every single social media that I have available. With all those things said, let's go and get started. Let's talk about Lamelo Ball. So I was advocating prior to the draft for Lamelo Ball to be the first overall pick because I felt like he had one elite skill that nobody else in this class had. Like, there were really good players, there were talented players, there were players with great upside, James Wiseman, Anthony Edwards among them. But I had always thought that if you're looking at this type of draft where it doesn't necessarily have like a can't miss guy, go and get the guy that has the highest upside and possesses an elite skill right now. Now that being passing for Lamelo. And so I've been kind of on the Lamelo train, in the Lamelo camp, pretty much the whole time. And now that he's in Charlotte, I was pretty excited. I was like, this is actually kind of ideal for him because, organized professional basketball is not something he has a ton of experience with, and certainly not at the NBA level. Obviously not going to college, and just the weird journey that it took him to get here. And I thought, well, if he goes to Charlotte, they've got a good coaching staff, and if he doesn't play...
I wouldn't call our coaching staff good. I'd call him decent.
Play particularly well early, there's no reason for him to necessarily be out there. And because they've got other guards, they've got Terry Rozier, they've got Devontae Graham, Gordon Hayward obviously is a good scorer, so like he doesn't have to be out there just to be out there. If he's really struggling, they can take their time with it. And then the season started and Lamelo was awesome. I think at one point in the year he was leading rookies in every single statistical category in terms of like total points, total rebounds, total assists, total steals. He was leading all those guys with the exception of blocks, obviously. And I was like, okay, well, I mean, this guy's the real deal. I mean, you watch Hornets games a couple of times and you can see that passing coming through, and you can see how once the jump shot and everything else develops, he's going to be a really, really good NBA player. And I made a video like maybe 2 weeks ago at this point, just saying like, this is it. Like, this is the Lamelo era. Go ahead and start it now. And over the last couple of games, that's kind of been taken back a little bit because he continues to come off the bench despite the fact that, he has shown great potential and flashes of something really great.
Yeah, it really doesn't make sense to have Graham still starting over him. I mean, Graham has been averaging, better efficiency as of late. I think the past 6 games he's had pretty good efficiency. But I would say Lamelo has a way brighter future than Devontae. I think we saw Devontae's full potential last year. when he had the full year to be himself.
Great in Charlotte. They desperately need, by the way, a high upside
deserves
player.
The same opportunity.
And he's continued to come off the bench, and guys like Terry Rozier and Devontae Graham and others have been taking a lot of the responsibility that a lot of people are arguing should go to Lamelo. And the big quote that came out, a couple of days ago was the Hornets head coach saying this. He said, last night, poor decision making, and he had poor decision making, and I think it affected him on the defensive end. If you're turning the ball over 5 times in 16 minutes, that's not going to cut it for me. If you're doing that on the offensive end, you better be bringing something defensively. Now, all those points are 100% fair, right? Lamelo has at times had issues with turnovers, and that game specifically that he's mentioning, of course, it was a pretty severe case of really turning the ball over a ton and also not giving great effort defensively. And I 100% understand the mindset of not just letting this guy get away with stuff like that because he's the 3rd overall pick and because he's talented. I 100% get that. However,
I do think that even if your 3rd overall pick is struggling, I think it'll benefit Lamelo more if he plays through that struggle rather than being taught to just sit the bench when he's struggling. That's my opinion.
Advocate that you're the Charlotte Hornets. It's not like you're a top 4 team in the East. It's not like you're really going to do anything this season. The best case scenario here is that Lamelo really, really heavily develops. Maybe you're like the 10th or the 9th best team in the East. Maybe you get a play-in game for a little bit of experience for this roster.
Or a Gordon Hayward all-star team.
Then you figure it out after that, right? So I understand the mindset of not just letting the rookie do whatever he wants, but I would prefer that Lamelo gets as many developmental minutes as possible so that you can tell him, hey, this isn't going to cut it. The stuff you're doing on the floor is not going to work. And I know from a coaching standpoint, it's difficult to continue to give someone minutes if they're not performing in a way that you think that they should be performing. But the only way that he's really going to learn is by being out there on the floor. And you can still tell him, hey, you got to stop turning the ball over. You got to start playing more defense. And you can show him that film and you can say, hey, here's where you weren't giving effort and energy. Here's where you were a little bit lackadaisical with the basketball. And you can say, okay, I'll correct that in that next game. And to be fair, last night they gave him 28 minutes. But I personally don't understand this idea of not giving Lamelo as many developmental minutes as possible, because you're treating the situation as if you're actually going to do something this season. If the Hornets could be a top 4, top 5 team in the East this year, then my opinion would be completely different. But that's just not the case. And I don't necessarily think that, getting Devontae Graham and Terry Rozier more run is the best long-term outlook for this franchise. It is clear when Lamelo plays. And yes,
and it's a story when Devontae and Graham get more minutes than Lamelo, but what really pissed me off is Cody and Caleb Martin getting more minutes than Lamelo. It's just crazy to me that the coaches would even consider playing 2 G Leaguers over their 3rd overall pick in the future of this franchise. It's just, Terry and Graham, I get if they're playing better than Lamelo, but it just doesn't make sense
there are rough edges to his game, absolutely. But it is clear when he plays and when he's on the floor that he is the long-term guy here. 100% he is the long-term guy. And I just think that for every night that Lamelo plays 15 minutes, you're missing an opportunity for him to continue to level up and level up and level up his game. And over the course of the year, if there's 20 games that he only plays 15 minutes when he could have played 25 or 30, that's a lot of developmental time for a guy that needs that time on the court. And it's not like he's playing particularly bad. Are there rough edges to his game? Absolutely. Does he need to stop turning the ball over? Does he need to give more effort defensively? 100%. But he's good enough to be on the floor 25 or 30 minutes a game. And every night that you don't do that, just takes away an opportunity for him to develop. And that's especially critical for a player that has had such an odd, entrance into the NBA and basketball experience prior to the NBA, not going to college and doing all the different pro basketball stuff that he did. He needs to be on the floor to understand what it's like to play NBA level defense, and understand what it's like to value every single possession.
What are the Hornets gaining out of him to sit the bench after he does? But I obviously don't know what's going on behind the scenes there. Maybe there's an issue where he thinks that he's way better than he is, or he thinks that, he doesn't need to be out there, or he doesn't need to do, all the little things while he's out there. I don't know. Maybe that's the case. But just from the outside looking in, it appears to me as though
they're being a little bit too cautious with his minutes. Just give him some run. Let us see what this guy can do. And ultimately, if he develops into what he should develop into, Terry Rozier and Devontae Graham are relatively irrelevant here, if I'm honest. There's not a whole lot.
They don't fit the timeline either. I'll look up their ages after, but I mean, LaMelo, I'm not saying that we should build around LaMelo after how many games we played, but I think he's a better outlook than what Terry and Devontae give us.
They can do to suddenly, be more important than LaMelo Ball at this point. So trust him, give him some run, and trust the fact that that level of development and those extra opportunities will be the most beneficial thing in the long term for the franchise. The coaching staff is not necessarily making bad points here. I just think that they're judging it within a different context than they should be, and they should be understanding that you're not going to win a ton of games this year anyway, so you might as well do what is best for the long term of the franchise, and that is making sure that LaMelo is every bit of the player that he looks like he can be at times. I'm all for helping him understand the things that he is doing wrong on the floor, but let him do that while learning on the job rather than sitting on the bench and wishing he was on the floor and not really getting those opportunities to develop. That's all. That's my case for playing LaMelo Ball more minutes. With all those things said, though, thank you.
All right, that wraps up the video. I just wanted to check real quick. I wanted to compare LaMelo's turnovers. It said he had 2.4 turnovers a game to other top guards from this class. Let's see. Anthony Edwards. I mean, two basically the same turnovers. Let's look at Killian Hayes. He has the same turnovers as LaMelo. Is he playing more minutes? They're playing relatively the same minutes. Who's another top guard? Cole Anthony. Let's see his turnovers. 1.6. So LaMelo is a slight outlier for the turnovers here, but it's not enough to really open your eyes. It's not like he's averaging like James Harden turnovers. I think James Harden is averaging how many turnovers? 5.8 turnovers this year. So it's not like he's averaging 5-6 turnovers a game. He's averaging 2.4. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. But as always, I'll be back. And the Hornets play tonight, so this will be a double upload. So I'll see you guys later.